Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be reacting to Randy Feltface buys a bookshelf on Gumtree. Now, I've only seen this like one time. I haven't seen this in a good while. It's been about 4 years ago since he uploaded this. But anyway, so without any further ado, we're gonna go ahead and react to this video. And 3, 2, 1, let's go.
All right. Okay, fuck. Okay, here we go. Okay. Walking to Sky, Chapter 1. I bought a bookshelf on Gumtree recently. It was an amazing experience. I'll quickly tell you about it and then I'll read the book. But
It's very pink.
It's strange because it made me start to think about the way like our methods of communication have sort of changed over the years. You know, in the old days, if you wanted a bookshelf, you'd just go see Gareth the bookshelf guy because he was the dude in the tribe that made the bookshelves. He had a little bookshelf cave. He was reputable. Now any bastard can sell their shit on Gumtree. You know what I mean? As a species, we're sort of able to cope with knowing and gossiping about around like 100 or 150 people. That's like the limit of our tribe. Any more than that, it starts to get confusing.
That's true.
Which is why we created abstract constructs like territories and deities to unite larger groups of people under an imaginary common factor. And it works a treat because we only really gather en masse on special occasions. But I think like social media and it's fucking all that up, you know? I don't think we're able to deal with the thousands of people we're connected to on a daily basis, and as a result we neglect our immediate 150, you know? That's why I never get invited to parties anymore. It's not because I ramble on about veganism and fisting old ladies. It's because I'm not on Facebook and everybody just assumes you are. I am so behind on the births, deaths and marriages of my friends that I feel like the time traveler's wife every time I go to a party. I'm like, this is Tim, he's our son, he's 6 now. Fucking didn't even know you were pregnant. Anyway, and you know smartphones aren't that great. You know that, right? They're not that great. You don't need the internet in your pocket. You work at Coles, okay? You're not working for the president. You don't need it. You don't need that much information. And also, what was the point of developing opposable thumbs for you to take a photo of your head and post it on the internet and then just stand by for validation? No one gives a fuck about your head. They'll only validate it in order to gain permission to post a photo of their own head on the internet and stand by for validation.
I like to watch YouTube.
The people who give a fuck about your head will at some point see it in real life.
Comment below if you also like to watch TV or watch a YouTube. Comment below if you can play a last video game, like playing Fortnite.
Sucking up my bandwidth.
While eating.
Anyway, this is what's going through my head as I'm on Gumtree looking for a bookshelf because, you know when you put something in the search in Booktree, what the fuck? When you put something in the search on Gumtree, I'm having a stroke up here. Yeah, when you put something in the search, right, and like, there's always a couple of things that come up in the list that are like the polar opposite of what you search for. I'm like, get out of my head, Gumtree algorithms, conspiracy. No, but seriously, you type it's like bookshelf, and it's like bookshelf, 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 gramophone, bookshelf, 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 combine harvester. What the fuck? That's actually a pretty good price. Anyway, on this particular day, I found 2 bookshelves that worked for me in terms of cost and, more importantly, geographical convenience, because I'd be fucked if I'm driving to Broadmeadows to pick up a bookshelf, right? So I type in bookshelf and I see the 2 things and I'm like, okay, one seller is Kathy, the other is Morgan. I send them both the same text message. Hello, I saw your bookshelf on Gumtree. Is it still available? Kathy texts back straight away saying, sorry, it went this morning. That's cool, Kathy. I'm sorry I gave you an annoying voice in the retelling of this story. Morgan's response came through a couple of minutes later and simply read, it was my wife's bookshelf. How do you respond to that? Aside from the fact that it doesn't answer my fucking question, his use of past tense in that sentence unnerved me slightly. I'm like, oh, I should probably just find another bookshelf. And then I noticed he lived in the suburb next to me, so I replied, is it still available? He responded with the letter Y. Just a Y? Is he asking me why I want to know if it's still available? Or is it a Y for yes, and he's so in the throes of grief that he can't manage the E and the S? I assume it's a Y for yes, so I respond, cool, I'll take it. When's a good time to come and pick it up? No reply for 15 minutes. I'm like, oh, he's forgotten about me, fuck it, I'll find another bookshelf. And then when his reply actually does come through, I realise he spent those 15 minutes crafting his response because it's a fucking thesis. He must have felt so bad about only using a single consonant in his previous text that he just massively overcompensated with this one. Also, for some reason, felt that the use of punctuation entirely unnecessary. So it's just one obscenely long sentence which reads, you must come and pick up now. I only have short time here at house and also it wide. So bring van or trailer and there stair. But I can help you carry downstairs. If you come park out front, walk up past ring bell and I will help you carry it to trailer or van. I only accept cash and if you do not come now, I will sell it someone else. Again, I'm thinking, I should just find another bookshelf at this point. But now I am fascinated by Morgan and I simply must meet the man. So I drive over to his house. Oh, before I left, I sent him a message saying, cool, I'll be there in 10 minutes. He replied, okay, but spelled it O-K-A-Y, which just fascinated me more. He'll use 4 letters to spell a 2-letter word, but only 1 letter to spell a 3-letter word. Morgan is off the fucking chain. And as I'm driving over to his house, I'm trying to picture what he's going to be like, you know. His pidgin English might suggest ethnicity of some sort, but I don't want to racially profile him. Maybe he's an old man who recently lost his wife and is not that very good at texting. Or maybe, and I'm really hoping this is the case, Morgan is just batshit crazy. So I get to his house and I go up to the... I park out front, walk up past ring bell, and I brace myself for the door to be opened by, like, an old man in a smoking jacket, wearing fishnet stockings and suspenders.
His name is Morgan. He's an old man. Wait, what?
Puffing on an opium pipe, while a butler just creepily polishes a goldfish in the background. And then a tiny pug dog wearing a fez hat just trots up the hallway, sits on the mat, looks up at me and says, welcome to our lovely room. And then the door opens and I am thoroughly disappointed. Before me stands an average Caucasian male in his mid-30s, dressed casually, hipster chic, stubble, glasses with designer frames, expensive watch. I immediately think architect, but the house is too cheesy for that. It's like a double-story doll's house with bay windows. But definitely a designer of some kind, maybe a graphic designer. He's too skinny for manual labour. He's too hip for the public sector. But this can't be Morgan. Because Morgan's text messages would suggest that he's not that technically savvy. And then the man standing in front of me says, hello, my name's Morgan. And the plot thickens! He invites me in, shakes my hand, closes the door, and 20 minutes later, I will be witnessing Morgan perform some of the most aggressive acts of violence I've ever seen in my life. And I will be speeding away in my car, bleeding from the face. Here's how this shit went down. I go into the house and I notice 2 things immediately. 1, this is a house in the throes of renovation. Nothing too extreme, but there's like drop sheets on all the furniture, there's freshly painted walls, there's a bathtub wrapped in plastic in the hallway awaiting installation. Someone's doing some work on this house. The second thing I notice, on the way up the stairs to the 2nd floor, on the 1st floor landing, is a wedding photograph featuring a very cleanly shaven Morgan with a very beautiful bride, very much in love. The photograph is very much on the floor, and the glass in the frame is very much smashed. She's not dead. She's left him, and the plot thickens a bit more for Morgan. Morgan unceremoniously, kicked the photo frame to one side.
The plot thickens even more.
I really wanted to pry into Morgan's life and ask heaps of inappropriate questions. But he was clearly a broken man. He had this terrible air of sadness around him, so I didn't want to intrude. Luckily for me, though, I didn't have to, because Morgan immediately began oversharing and told me the whole fucking story. Thank you, Morgan. I shall hang off your every word and then retell your tale to 200 strangers and record it for a fucking DVD.
Poor Morgan.
He is a graphic designer, yes, and he's really good at it. He does massive rebranding campaigns for large corporations. He gets flown all over the world doing this shit, right? About 4 years ago, a woman hired Morgan to rebrand her florist business, and he did such a great job, she married him. And he thought everything was just fine, until about 3 months ago. Morgan had to do a presentation in Sydney, right? But he was on his way home from overseas and he got stuck in Dubai due to a flight cancellation. So rather than cancel the meeting, Morgan suggested to these businessmen in Sydney that they do a Skype chat because he's so technologically savvy despite his fucking baffling text message style. So Morgan checks into a hotel, cracks open his laptop and starts Skyping with this room full of businessmen in Sydney who are all watching Morgan on a massive screen on their boardroom wall, right?
Why is his
and
neck
everything's
so
going
wrinkly?
great. Morgan is totally nailing it until about halfway through, he realises that a file he wants to show these dudes is on the desktop of his home computer back in his home office in Melbourne. And he decides to live share the desktop of his home computer on the Skype chat. He knows how to do that. He can control his computer remotely from anywhere in the world. It's not particularly new technology, but Morgan makes it sound so impressive. So this room full of businessmen are all watching keenly like, oh, Margaret, bring in some biscuits. There's some newfangled shit going on in here. As Morgan clicks a few buttons and brings up the desktop of his home computer on the Skype chat. Now, what Morgan doesn't realise is that his wife has been using the photo booth app on that particular computer to take pictures of herself. To take naked pictures of herself. To take naked pictures of herself doing some pretty fucked up shit. It's embarrassing to say the least. Just as Margaret came back in with the biscuits, I've got you the... Now, those of you who are familiar with the photo booth app will know that how it works is it accesses the built-in camera in your computer and with a click of a button takes a photo of you when you're standing in front of the screen. And if you know that, you'll also know that if you leave that application open, the camera also stays open, witnessing whatever may be happening in front of the computer in real time, such as your wife in your home office fucking your best mate.
Fucking your best mate.
Morgan then goes on to tell me she's keeping the house, his former best mate is moving in, and while they're out for the day happily shopping for fittings, Morgan must suffer the indignity of moving his shit out and selling the stuff they don't want on Gumtree to this guy. It's at this point of the story that Morgan starts crying. He breaks down, and I do not blame the man. It's fucking horrible, and I just want to give him a big hug and say, everything's going to be all right, Morgan. But I am holding the full weight of a bookshelf halfway down a set of stairs. And Morgan is the only thing stopping that bookshelf from caving my face in. I was like, Morgan! And Morgan managed to pull himself together for about 8 seconds and then just went, bah, and let the bookshelf go. I felt fell backwards. It literally rolled over me and took out the light hanging above the staircase. I'm now lying on my back, getting showered in broken glass, as the bookshelf turned end over end and just went thonk right through a freshly painted wall at the bottom of the stairs. I'm like, oh, I've got a tiny cut on my forehead, which is just pissing blood for some reason. Apart from that, I'm fine.
Those
Morgan,
tiny
however,
head cuts or something else.
he's
You
not
get one
fine.
little splinter of a cut.
Morgan
It's like
is
you're
the
bleeding to
opposite
death.
of fine.
You get a
Something
splinter.
happened
You
when
get
the
one of those little
bookshelf
splinter of a
lodged itself
cut
in the wall, and
cuts
his
on your
sadness
forehead.
just
Oh, you're
went
done
away
for.
in a second, and he started pissing himself laughing. Hysterical. And he had the creepiest laugh I've ever heard in my life. I'm standing going, this is weird, and he's going, like some sort of demonically possessed.
Sounds like an aftermarket version of Peter Griffin. The Family Guy.
Can I still have the bookshelf? He's like, yeah. We extracted from the wall. The bookshelf, incidentally, showing no sign of having just rolled down a staircase and smashed through a wall. We carried it out to my car. We had to stop about 6 times because we was like, hang on a minute. We got to the car, pulled out the trailer, and Morgan was in such a great mood, he let me have the bookshelf for free. Oh!
Hell yeah!
And that's where the story should end.
That's where it should have been.
But there was something about the bookshelf going through the wall that flipped a fucking switch in Morgan's head, and he is now hungry for more destruction. So as I started tying the bookshelf down to my trailer, Morgan just strolls over to like an upright mailbox on the front lawn and just starts trying to wrench it out of the ground, just really putting his back into it. Like, I'm like, you okay, buddy? He's like, yep. He pulls it out of the ground, whereupon he wields it like a fucking battle axe and just starts smashing up the front garden, just beheading the daisies, fucking up the lavender. I'm like, oh, hey Morgan, maybe you want to stop and think about that. And he wheeled around and looked at me like Jack Nicholson chasing Shelley Duvall up the stairs in The Shining and said, why don't you mind your own fucking business? Yep, cool, man. Yep. Now, I like tying knots. I'm quite good at tying knots. If I tie something down, I take my time because I want it to stay there. But as Morgan nonchalantly strolled up the driveway, rolled up the garage door, and put the mailbox through the windscreen of an Audi, I must admit, I kind of rushed my knot tying job.
I would too.
I'm about to drive off.
Morgan seems
I'm
a little
like looking at the
pretty
house
on
going,
him.
no, I'm sure it'll be fine. And then an armchair smashed out of an upstairs window and just went doink, 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 doink down the front lawn. I was like, what's my duty of care in this situation? I didn't want to call the cops on him. I didn't want him to trash the house. I'm like, fuck, I'm going to have to talk to Morgan. So I got out, I walked up the driveway, shitting myself. You know when someone does something really violent and you're just like, fuck, we're not supposed to do shit like that. Yucky, just yucky feeling in my tum-tum. And I'm standing there in the garage, and there's like an adjoining door in the garage that leads into the house. I can see in through the door into the house, up the staircase. It's like a wooden staircase, and I'm standing in the garage just going, Morgan. Like I was calling a cat for its dinner. Like, Morgan! Muggy! And then I notice a small trickle of water start to come from the top step. And then a little bit more water, and then quite a lot of water. Just pissing down the stairs like a shitty water feature. I'm like, that can't be right. And then Morgan appeared on the top step holding a hammer like this. Bah! I was like, whoa! He's like, bah! Starts running at me, wielding the hammer, going, bah! I'm like, oh no, man, I just wanted to buy your bookshelf. He's like, bah! Run straight past me. I'm like, where are you going? He's like, made a beeline for my car. I'm like, no, man, stop. He's like, stop it, just stop. He spins around and goes, I just checked my phone. She texted me 15 minutes ago saying she'll be here in 15 minutes. We gotta go. And gets into my car. Jesus.
Fuck.
Man.
Would you guys hop into a random man's car, random strangers?
I put plugs in all of the sinks and turned all
Would
the
you guys
taps on.
have?
I'm like, oh, that's fucked. He's like, just drive. I was like, nah. I took off so
Would you
quick,
guys
round
hop
the
into a
corner
random
of Envy
stranger's
Street,
car,
and the
random
bookshelf just
stranger's
went,
vehicle?
boosh, and exploded against the guardrail.
The
Just
boosh.
exploded in a shower of badly tied knots and broken dreams.
Comment below if you're
So
not
me
afraid
and
of stranger
Morgan
danger.
just fucking left it there. Like a little breadcrumb for his ex-wife to find on the way home to her destroyed gingerbread house. I dropped Morgan at a train station. I have never seen him again. And that, my friends, is why
He's
I
gone.
no longer shop
He got
on
arrested.
Gumtree. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Fuck. You know my favourite bit of that story? I just made it up. Yeah, it's not true. There is no Morgan. It's very unsatisfying, isn't it? But I saw
Just
him in
made
my
it all
head.
up.
I saw Morgan in my head.
I saw Morgan. I see the voices of Morgan in my head.
Why is it we can feel so robbed
voices.
when someone tells us a story we just heard isn't true, and yet so satisfied at the end of a fictional novel?
I saw Morgan in my head.
No. You know the other great thing about that story? First draft. Fuck you, Hemingway!
Fuck you, Ernest Hemingway. Excuse me. Alright. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I just now noticed I got boob physics. Let's see if I can get it to work. Yeah, well. Oh, there it goes. Oh, anyway. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Smash that bell so that way you know of every time I upload. And without any further ado, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, and as always, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.